distance learning keeping kids out of classrooms. And Lorreen Pryor says that's not necessarily a bad thing for Black students facing racism on campus.
It's not always overt racism, what we see right now. Sometimes it's covert. It's microaggressions daily. It's coming in and not calling on the student with their hand up. It's putting that student in the back of the room. It's that student walks into your classroom and you automatically kick them out.
Up next, the Black youth leadership, reaching out through technology to empower Black students during the pandemic.
Students learn.
Well, advocates say when school fully reopens, there is an opportunity to rid our campuses of unconscious bias and overt racism, something Sacramento youth leadership and its allies say is long overdue.
We want to hold people accountable, and we do that by showing up. We show up consistently and intentionally.
Lorreen Pryor is a veteran legislative staffer and president of the Black Youth Leadership Project, also known as BYLP. Her passion, making sure Black students and their families are treated fairly.
So we serve Black children, specifically and intentionally, unapologetically. And we do that because what we've been seeing, especially in the school districts, because we also do advocacy work, especially in the school districts, we've seen that Black children are not supported in the way that they, one, need to be supported, and two, what they should be supported. We deal with the whole family, right? So we have the students covered, we have the parents covered, we deal with school districts.
Keeping the focus on educators and policymakers takes a critical eye and a willingness to act boldly.
It's not always overt racism, what we see right now. Sometimes it's covert. It's microaggressions daily. It's coming in and not calling on the student with their hand up. It's putting that student in the back of the room. It's that student walks into your classroom and you automatically kick them out. The thing that upsets me the most is how they're treating the children.
The fight for fair treatment goes beyond the classroom. BYLP is also growing the next generation of public leaders, introducing teens to the legislative process, developing leadership skills, and getting youth involved in public service, a critical mission given the racial tensions today.
I think it's important that we understand that the Black community is reeling right now based on the trauma that we're seeing out in society. We're in a state of emergency, and if somebody doesn't make the decision to do something intentionally for the Black community, we're going to continue to see this kind of downward spiral.
Joining in the fight, non-Black allies.
That's the biggest issue. White supremacy will not end unless white people see it as a white problem. It is not a Black problem for them to fix on their own.
Lisa Stanley is with Allies to Abolitionist Support Network.
We have to really be intentional in our own learning of our own biases, implicit biases, and want to be part of the change.
A target of racism herself, she says change is long overdue.
So I saw firsthand what it was to be with a Black man, to experience what a Black family experiences. My kids' father was Black, and we were pulled over for numerous times for no reason at all. Guns drawn, just this, what we see in the news today, right? It hasn't stopped. And this is important to me. It's important not just because of my kids, it's important because it's a social justice.
And while COVID-19 is separating activists from decision makers, it doesn't mean the cause is on pause.
Right when COVID hit, we were scheduled to have our legislative open house, our annual program. We had the largest class coming in at 150 students.
Mentorship has gone online. Families still get support. Youth are heard and encouraged through the Black Girl Support Network and Black Boys Support Network. Richard Davis and Jordan Sanders are mentors with the Black Boys Support Network.
We just support the kids that we recruit, and we make sure that they know that they're loved, that they're valued, and that they can come to us about whatever problems that they may face. And we make sure that we're intentional with how we care for them. We're intentional with how we, stay on top of being in touch with them. And so we just let them know that we're always here, we're a listening ear.
Sanders says he is encouraged by the multiracial support for meaningful changes to policing, public safety, and reversing decades of inequities. But he's also a realist.
You know, it's natural. People just like jump on the train for a little bit and they jump right off.
Davis also calls it like he sees it.
One thing that troubles me right now is, I guess, the inflation of racism that comes from the current election. A lot of those things that we see is making people say things very boldly, and it's kind of showing reflection in our society in multiple different facets. And so when I look at that, it makes me a bit frightened. What makes me hopeful is, you know, my people sitting here in this room.
Giving children and teens a safe place to speak, be heard, and encouraged.
I think we all come from a place where we wish we had certain examples at certain times. This is a place where you can make sure that that example is there.
Jayda Pryor is there for Black girls and young women.
I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about, I've always been a leader. I've learned how to be a leader in a different way, a more positive, a more healthy way. And that's kind of like how I try to direct my girls, just because we're always going to have challenges, and understanding that because America was built this way, nothing is your fault and nothing is personally against you, but being able to combat those challenges in a healthy manner.
Black youth leadership and its allies, meeting the needs in a consistent and intentional way and inviting others to do the same.
We're waiting on Superman. The Superman ain't coming. Let's be honest, Superman's not coming. So what are you going to do? How are you going to contribute to the changes you want to see? And we're just doing our part.
And if you are interested in becoming a student or parent ambassador with the Black Youth Leadership Project or joining the Black Boys, Black Girls Network, you can find all the details at BYLP.org. Back to you.
Okay, Brittany, thank you.